This is peak high-grade engineering. It has surpassed my expectations. Bandai could have easily gone the lazy route and reused parts from existing kits, but no, they actually went the extra mile and made this kit entirely new, and it is all the better for it. It is frustrating to me because kits from this series cannot be regular release because this is genuinely one of the best high grades I have ever had the privilege of building. Let's go back to the beginning so I can show you why. Coming in at an SRP of 3,520 yen or 25 US dollars, we have the HG Universal Century 1144th scale AMX 014R Reben Wolf from Advanced Zeta Reboot. The box here is huge, so you know it's gonna be a nice sizable build. Specifically, it is around the same size as the HG Gundam, which is close to a standard MG box. The art is all in monochrome, which is standard for most P Bandai kits. If you aren't familiar, P Bandai kits are sold in batches and is directly from Bandai, no middleman distributor. So in general, unless you get a pre-order, they are harder to get and are more prone to have a higher price due to scalping or reselling. Taking a closer look at the front, there are no credited illustrators or background artists. I believe this is just a CG render of the model kit, so nothing really interesting there. Here at the sides, we just have a condensed version of the one at the front. At the bottom, we just have the name. And at the top, we have the name again and some legal print. Opening it up, I really want to find out if this reuses parts from the older HG Reben Wolf. We have 4 bags of runners and the manual. Taking a look at the manual, since this is P Bandai, we don't have a lot of fluff, no descriptions, no images, just the runner list and the instructions. And of course, we have the color guide, which is ironically not in color. And interestingly, we only use around 4 colors, so a very simple color palette here. Here's a close-up from the runner list from the manual. If you want to take a look, just pause the video. We do have some unused parts, but it's all new runners, which is great, which means we're gonna have some new engineering. Now let's take a look at the runners. Here we have multicolored runner A in 2 shades of green and some red. This is labeled Reben Wolf AOZ Reboot, so this is all brand new. Everything in this kit is brand new runners, not from the Reben Wolf or any of the variants. Then we have runner B1 for some armor pieces in this dark green. Then we have runner B2 in the lighter shade of green for some armor pieces. As you can see, we have 2 types of heads, one with the commander antenna and one without. Then we have runner C in this purplish gray for some joint parts and some of the weapons. Then in that same color, we have runner D1 and D2 for some joint parts as well. Then we have runner E in this yellowish orange in a softer type of plastic. I wonder how well this will be sanded and painted. We also have runner F in this clear blue for the sensors for the beam rifle and the head. Then we have runner I, not the letter I, but the word I spelled out for the mono eye. Then we have MP4 in this gray, which is labeled Manipulator 4. I wonder if this is reused from other kits or will this be also reused for future kits. Then we have SB22 in this clear yellow for some beam effect parts. Interestingly, it is brand new as well, so it's not reused from like the Giradoga. Lastly, we have Re-Xeon sticker decals. Now let's get this thing built up, shall we? For the head, we have 12 pieces. We actually have a clear part for the sensor at the top. We also have 2 options for the head, one with the commander fin and one without. The head also has a sort of inner frame, and we do have a separate clear piece for the mono eye, which also has a moving gimmick, which is very nice. For the tubing, we have the semi-rubbery soft plastic tubes in this nice yellow-orange, and that's it for the head. It looks pretty good and feels more dense and high quality because of the inner frame. The torso has a lot of pieces, especially for high grade. We basically get an inner frame once again, making the kit feel more dense and premium. Things just build up so well and cleanly. Same thing, we got the tubings in the nice yellow-orange. We also got the nice shoulder articulation gimmicks. This kit's engineering is impressive. Things just seems to go in so smoothly and no seam lines in sight so far. Man, for a high grade, this kit is really exceeding my expectations. Keeping up the pace, the arms engineering is also great. We don't have any seam lines or any defects. The kit does not skimp on the plastic. We don't have any hollow pieces at all. Even the undersides of the shoulder shields have a frame. Most grunt high grades would just make that hollow. It's really mind-blowing what they've done. We don't have a full inner frame, but the overall end product of the arms leaves us with a nice, dense feeling build. Now for the leg, we get a whopping 37 pieces each leg. For a high grade, that's pretty much unheard of. This feels less like a high grade, but more like a full mechanics kit, especially for how big this kit is. We get an almost full inner frame again. We are also blessed with a moving gimmick with the thrusters and the ankle. This kit just keeps on giving. We really don't have any issues here, no seam lines, just amazing engineering. This kit, is gearing up to be one of the GOATs of high grades, especially for a relatively obscure mobile suit design like the Reben Wolf Overall, the legs build up to be a heavy-feeling, sturdy, and beautifully proportioned piece of engineering. The waist, while not as complicated as the legs, come with 15 pieces total. We have some nice articulation gimmicks built in that I will show in detail later in the articulation section. There's a waist side-to-side gimmick and a hip gimmick. It is also nice that for the back skirt, we have actual frame pieces for the underside. This kit really does not cut any corners. The backpack consists of 21 pieces. The seam lines in the construction are hidden as panel lines, so there's no issues here. We get a nice two-tone green and some gray parts peeking out. However, there is a tiny nitpick that the connection points have hollow areas. Not that big of a deal though, still great. The backpack connection is kinda unique, so I don't think it's compatible with other kits. The beam rifle consists of 7 parts. It's pretty simple. We have clear parts for each of the sensors, and the seam line is hidden as a panel line. The beam tomahawk handles are 2 pieces each, nothing too crazy. Putting it all together, the mobile suit alone consists of a nice even 200 pieces. For the waist connection, it does use that keyhole type, where you have to rotate the piece after. Overall, the build is very enjoyable. To be honest, if I didn't know this was 144 scale, I would have thought this was a full mechanics because the size and the advanced engineering really exceeds what you expect for a high grade. So here we have the kit all built up, and boy is it big and beautiful. Its engineering is so nice from top to bottom, and the results really show. It really nails the aesthetic that Kenki Fujioka designed in the Advance of Zeta reboot. If you aren't familiar with Advance of Zeta, it's basically a side story collaboration with Dengeki Hobby and Sunrise. Sunrise being the original creators of the Mobile Suit Gundam we all know and love. The person who designs all the mobile suits in Advance of Zeta is the amazing Kenki Fujioka. Advance of Zeta Reboot is, well, a reboot of Advance of Zeta, which happened around the mid-2000s. Think of the original AOZ being the Zeta series and Reboot being the compilation movies. It featured a new story and new designs. The Reben Wolf specifically appeared in AOZ Reboot Gundam Inlay. Lore-wise, it was developed from the Dowen Wolf. The Dowen Wolf in turn was based on the Gundam Mark V, which was further developed into the Silver Bullet and the Silver Bullet Suppressor. What makes this kit special is that they didn't use the existing high-grade parts. Don't get me wrong, those kits are good, but they're really getting a bit old now. Bandai went the extra mile and made an entirely new model kit, and it really shows on how it looks and feels. Color accuracy wise, this kit is pretty much spot on with the art. The only coloring needed are the inside of the thrusters. They have to be in white, which is a simple fix. Otherwise, absolutely perfect color separation. For the seam lines, we don't have anything on the head. Here at the backpack, there is a seam line, but it's designed as a panel line. Same for the bottom of the backpack. Here at the shoulders, it's made to be part of the design. In the shoulder shield as well, it's a big panel line. This one in the chest also hidden as part of the design. The only real seam line we have is here at the bottom of the torso, but it's usually hidden if you're doing a standing pose, and you really have to do a backward bend to really see it, and it's pretty much hidden, so that's the only real seam line. Everywhere else, like the one here in the forearm, designed as a panel line. Also here at the knee, part of the design. And lastly here at the back of the leg, it is part of the design. Overall, there are no real red flags in terms of seam lines. For the size, it comes in at around 15 centimeters at the head, which is pretty tall, around the same size as a 1/100 later UC suit like the F91. Here it is next to the Gquuuuuux high grades, being the Gquuuuuux itself and the Police Zaku. As you can see, this kit is huge for a high grade. It will definitely stand out in a shelf full of high grades. Overall, the aesthetics of this kit is just a chef's kiss. It's big and dense. It really feels more like a full mechanics kit than a high grade. Even the Vulcans here at the head are color separated. The little details at the backpack and chest and leg are all engineered to be color separated. It does the Kenki design art justice. With this new mold, I wish we would get updated versions of the Dowen Wolf Silver Bullet, and maybe, I really hope that we can get the HGUC Gundam Mark V from Sentinel. It is a crime that that design doesn't have a high grade yet. Now that we've discussed the aesthetics, let's look at the accessories and gimmicks. Here is what it comes with out of the box. We get a total of 8 hands, which for a high grade is very rare. This should definitely be the standard. You get basically every hand you'd want. We get a beam rifle, we get 2 beam sabers / tomahawk handles, the normal head for the non-commander type, extra knee joints for kit bashing with other Advance of Zeta kits, the beam effect parts, and we get an adapter for holding the beam handles. For the hands, they attach via a ball joint. The right hand has a closed fist, holding fist, trigger finger hand, and open dynamic hand. For the left, we have the same. We have a closed fist, holding fist, trigger finger hand, and open dynamic hand. The beam rifle is really nice. It has color separated clear parts, so no need for stickers. Ignore the botched foggy clear part there at the sensor. I was trying to figure out how to take it out for painting. So a little warning if you plan on painting this kit in the future like me, it is very difficult to remove this clear piece, so I suggest not placing it until you finish painting. There is a slight seam line in the middle, so I suggest closing that, but some of it's part of the design, so it's very easy to fix. Besides that, it looks great despite the simplicity. I love the design and it fits the mobile suit really well. The little stock here can also swing up and down. To attach it, you use either trigger finger hand, you just sandwich it between the fingers and the palm, and it holds pretty well. Sadly, there's no way to store this rifle on the mobile suit when it's not in use. Now we have the beam tomahawks. 2 of them are included along with 4 beam effects, 2 vigorous sabers, and 2 types of axe effects. The handle can extend back and forth. The beam saber just attaches via a peg at the top. If you want to include the beam axe effect, you need to have it extended in order to have the slot open. These beam effects look really nice and vigorous, but they're not UV reactive. If you want to make it hold the beam axe in hand, you just slot it into the holding fist like so. The grip is decent, but you do need to sort of re-close the fist to get it tight. When not in use, you can use this adapter. You can just place the handles on the holes and attach it to the back of the waist. For extra parts, we get an extra non-commander type head. Then for the optional knee joint, I'll show in the manual how it works because I don't have any compatible AOZ kits with me right now, so that's the best I can do. Overall, the accessories of this kit aren't crazy in terms of weapons, but they're all executed pretty well. We get all 8 hand options, which is extremely rare for high grade. The rifle looks great and has actual clear parts. The beam tomahawks have the extension gimmick and great effect parts, and you have the option to store them as well. Then we have all the extra option parts, the head, the knees. This kit doesn't need a lot of weapons to look good, even just standing there menacingly is enough. It has so much aura. The accessories are simple yet effective. Taking a look at the articulation of the kit, the head is on a double joint. It does have a gimmick where it can pop out forward for a more downward look. It also does what a ball joint does, so it can move all the way around. The head also has a moving mono-eye gimmick where it can move along a track. You just have to take the head off and move it from the bottom. The shoulder joint has 2 points of articulation actually, so you can move it more forward and more backward for more dynamic poses. The shoulder is on a ball joint, so it can rotate all the way around. It can also go up and down separately from the arm. This shoulder shield is also on a ball joint, so it can rotate around. We have a upper bicep 360. Now for the elbow bend, we get a nice double joint, so it can go all the way. For the ab crunch, we do have a limited one forward, but backwards we get quite a bit for a big bulky suit like this. For even more articulation gimmicks, it has a peg that can go side to side, so you can get better side to side ab crunches. The waist is on a peg, so it can rotate all the way. The side skirts are actually attached to the thigh, so it's on a ball joint, so it can move a little bit. Taking a look closer at the hip joint, it actually is on a circular track, so you can move it up and down wherever you want to get better articulation. With the articulation gimmick, you can drop the hip and make a kick so high that it goes well above 90 degrees. It can also go 90 degrees up to the side, really nice. The thigh has a full rotation at the upper hip. Now, the knee bend of this kit is really mind-blowing for a high grade. It even has a moving gimmick where you can see some of the inner frame when you fully bend it. The back skirt can wiggle a little bit forward and back. Another great articulation point that this kit has is it actually has a moving gimmick where if you move the ankle forward and back, the thrusters also move with it. Articulation-wise, the ankle goes forward and back pretty good. For the side-to-side, it also has great movement inward and outwards. You can get some pretty good standing poses as well. For the backpack, these are on a ball joint, so you can move it around, wiggle it, rotate it a little bit. So as you can see, the articulation of the kit, much like the engineering, is amazing. Not only does it look and feel good, it also moves good. We get basically all we want from a high grade. Maybe the only shortcoming, which is a bit of a nitpick, is the forward ab crunch, but it's more of a limitation of design rather than the engineering. The kit is also very solid, so it can hold a lot of the poses you'd want without any worries about loose parts, sagging, and stuff falling off. Overall, it passes the articulation test with flying colors. You can really do some nice poses. And as usual, let's finish this off with what I like and dislike. It has an amazing build and engineering. Firstly, the engineering and the building experience is top-notch. It's up there with one of the most enjoyable high grades. It's big and complex, but builds like a charm. No loose parts, no problematic seams. It feels like Bandai put more effort to this than to other high grades for sure. It feels more like a full mechanics kit, honestly. Next is the big shelf presence. This kit is huge. For a high grade, it rivals MG's in terms of size. If you like big kits, you love this guy. Despite being a high grade, it has the presence of a 1/100 model kit. If your shelf is full of high grades, this guy will stick out like a sore thumb in the best way possible. Next, we have a full set of hands. This kit solves one of my biggest pet peeves when it comes to high grades. This comes with basically any hand option you'd need, for both hands even. You get 4 for each hand. In contrast, a lot of the high grades can't even get more than 1 for each hand. This kit is really packed. Speaking of which, we have simple but great weapons. We only have one beam rifle and some beam hawks, but they all have great quality. The rifle has clear parts and great detail, while the beam effects are newly molded to be even more vigorous. You won't really need much more, honestly. Lastly, we have almost perfect articulation. Despite being this big, this kit can move. It has full articulation wherever you'd need. It really has no flaws. The only nitpick would be that the forward ab crunch is a bit limited, but in practice, it really doesn't affect it significantly. The kit is so solid, so posing it is a breeze. Nothing falls off or sags. It holds the accessories easily, just a joy to pose around. For the dislikes, well, I only have one thing. This kit is not a regular release. This kit's only flaw is that you can't get it easily. This kit deserves to be in everyone's backlog or shelf. That's how good it is. If you want a high grade that rivals the Moon Gundam in terms of quality, then you should get this kit. It is definitely one of the goats of high grade, and it is a shame that it has to be P Bandai for legal reasons. If you can find this kit for a fair price, definitely get it. And that's it for the review. What did you guys think about the kit, and will you buy it? What are your top high grades of all time? Also, if you liked the video, please consider subscribing. Thank you. Bye!